I'm Charlie Taylor and welcome to Chapter 11. In this chapter, I'd like to briefly give you an overview of the legal issues regarding electronic eavesdropping and TSEM services in the United States. I apologize to those of you who purchased this DVD in other countries for not including information about your country, but I'm simply unaware of your laws. All right, let me start by first making it very clear that I am not an attorney, and that any statements made in this video regarding federal and state laws are based upon my personal interpretation of the relevant laws that I'm aware of. And there will probably be several issues that I won't even take the time to discuss here. I'm just trying to hit the high points. You should contact your legal counsel for a true legal interpretation of any relevant laws. Also, I'm not going to discuss anything about court-ordered eavesdropping in this chapter. All right, having said that, let me start by stating that in my opinion, the U.S. Constitution guarantees all of its citizens a constitutional right of privacy, and that no one has the permission to violate that right. Of course, having said that, it's interesting to look at the history of eavesdropping in the U.S., because prior to 1968, there were no specific federal laws regarding electronic eavesdropping, and just about everyone seemed to be doing it. However, in 1968, the U.S. Congress passed the Federal Omnibus Crime Control and Safe Streets Act of 1968, also known as the Federal Wiretapping Act, which prohibits the interception of oral communications. The statute was amended in 1986 to cover electronic communications, and amended again in 1994 to protect cordless telephones. The Act creates criminal liability for any person who intentionally intercepts, endeavors to intercept, or procures other persons to intercept or endeavor to intercept any wire, oral, or electronic communications. The statute also makes it illegal to use any electronic, mechanical, or other device to intercept oral communications except under special circumstances. Also, under this act, it's illegal to disclose or otherwise use the context of illegally intercepted communications. Violations of the statutes are punishable by criminal and civil penalties, including punitive damages. I want to particularly point out that the Electronic Communication Privacy Act of 1986 makes it illegal for private citizens to own, manufacture, import, sell, or advertise any eavesdropping device while knowing or having reason to know that its design of such device renders it primarily useful for the purpose of surreptitious interception of wire, oral, or electronic communications. The violation is a fine up to $10,000 and/or prison for up to 5 years. According to the Act, only law enforcement agencies are allowed to use bugs, and only then after obtaining a court order. Even though federal agents have repeatedly raided spy shops to shut down the widespread illegal marketing of surveillance devices, I find it amazing that despite the legal sanctions, sales of surveillance devices that may violate the laws are openly sold, and their use is widespread in the United States. If you remember the U.S. Department of State report that I discussed in Chapter 3, there are approximately 712,000 illegal eavesdropping devices sold each year in the U.S. alone. Personally, all this seems way too odd to me, and I guess people treat these laws about the same way as they do traffic laws. I mean, everyone knows it's illegal to speed, yet everyone seems to do it. Oh, by the way, if you viewed Chapter 4 of this video, then you'll know that wireless entertainment items, wireless intercom, and wireless babysitter systems can also be used for eavesdropping. However, it is obviously not illegal to own these, just illegal to use them to intercept someone's conversations without their knowing. All right, let me briefly touch on one other subject here, and that's the issue of employers intercepting employees' telephone calls. While the interpretation of the laws are pretty much all over the map on this issue, I personally believe that you simply cannot tell an employee that you're going to violate his constitutional right of privacy. They must give you written permission to record their conversations. However, the federal law does permit businesses to monitor phone calls that are business related when the monitoring is part of the ordinary course of business, such as a call center. And even then, when the content of the telephone conversation is of a personal nature, then the monitoring must stop.